Hey horror fans, once again it is me, the Horror Miser Money G. It's time to do another horror movie review. This time we're going to review the latest horror film from Shudder called Jacob's Wife. Now, Jacob's Wife is a 2021 horror movie. It was directed by Travis Stevens. It was written by Kathy Charles, Mark Steetzland, and Travis Stevens. The film stars popular Scream Queen Barbara Crampton, Larry Fessenden, and Bonnie Aarons. Now, in this one, Anne, married to a small town minister, feels like her life has been shrinking over the past 20 to 30 years. After encountering the master, Anne has a new sense of power and an appetite to live bolder, but it comes with a price and a high body count. Oh no, always gotta pay the price when you get what you want. Now, I'm sure everyone knows that my favorite supernatural creatures are vampires, yes. Not only do I love the mythos and lore of these fascinating creatures, I've enjoyed almost all of the horror movies featuring vampires. From Universal Monsters' Dracula, Hammer's version of The Count, Fright Night, and the Underworld film series, I can't get enough of watching horror films that involve vampires, but don't you ever bring up Twilight. Forget Twilight. I'm not even going to talk about it because it'll get me to rant. So when I saw the trailer for Jacob's Wife, which stars popular Scream Queen Barbara Crampton, I knew I'd be watching another decent vampire horror film, and I'm safe to say that this was a decent vampire horror film. So in this setting, we have Anne Feeder, deadful and loving wife of Pastor Jacob Feeder. Jacob is a minister of a small town church, and from the looks of things, he and Anne have a healthy and loving marriage. They seem so nice and beautiful together. However, based on Anne's look and demeanor, she isn't happy and seems kind of bored. Seems like she's not happy. All that changes, however, after an encounter with a vampire simply called the Master. And boy, Anne does go through a nice change, but so does Anna embrace her newfound freedom, or will she go back being the dutiful and lovely wife she's been for the past 30 years? That's basically what the film is about. We see Anne, she has the encounter with the vampire called the Master, and all of a sudden she starts this new look. She dresses more provocative. She seems to be going back to her famous self, but is she going to accept these new changes, or will she go back being the dutiful, bored wife that she's been? I think that's what the film is looking to do in this particular setting. Now, I do like the fact that the filmmakers decided to do something different when it comes to vampires in horror movies. They don't decide to do the simple thing, they're doing something different. They decided to play into a plot that you would normally see on a Hallmark channel. You know, a bored housewife who has an affair with her own flame and she rediscovers her old self. However, writers Kathy Charles, Mark Steensland, and director Travis Stevens, who also wrote this story as well, have crafted something decent and sometimes funny story here. Now, I love how Travis and the filmmakers take their time in showing how bored and unhappy Anne is. No, as the movie progresses, I would say mainly during the first act, we learned that Anne was something of a free spirit, and that most people were surprised that she actually married a man like Jacob. We also see the reasons why she decided to marry Jacob, and we see why. And she feels like she's faithful, or I guess dependent upon him because of what happened throughout the movie. Now, of course, Barbara Crampton is wonderful as Anne. She gives Anne all the emotions of a woman who is definitely unhappy and feels like she's settled with Jacob. Despite the fact of how he treats her, she still feels as though she's devoted and she actually does love him. Even after being attacked by the Master, we see subtle changes in Anne's behavior as she starts to act more like the woman she once was before she became Jacob's wife. But she's still resistant. She still feels as though it's like, despite the fact she's a changed woman or she's going back, she feels still somewhat devotion to Jacob. And I like that aspect of Anne's character here. Now, of course, I love the chemistry that Barbara and Larry Frenstein have in this particular movie. They play so well off each other that audience will believe that there were once a happy married couple. It's their performance that drives the movie, and we start to care what happens to Anne and Jacob. Because as we see in the beginning of the movie, we see that Jacob obviously takes her for granted. He just completes her sentences. She tries to talk at one point in the beginning of the movie while they're dealing with a woman whose mother is alcoholic, and we see that Anne is trying to be more comfortable, but Jacob just cuts her off. And during the other parts of the film, we see that Anne is trying to show her that she's a fully capable part of the function, he pays her no mind, he pays her no attention. Now, I like that aspect of the film, how they show how Jacob, well, he might love Anne, he's taking her for granted. And actually, when the change happens, at first he's scared of her, but then he seems to want to fight for her. So I love the chemistry that Barbara and Larry have with each other. And the movie doesn't downplay on the violence when it comes to the vampires. As when people are attacked, they're attacked viciously and bloody. So they don't downplay on the violence. I love there's plenty of blood and gore and guts here. As I said, there are plenty of blood and gore and practical effects, which is pretty good, despite the fact this is a low-budget horror movie. You can tell that this was set in a very basic town. They really didn't spend that much as far as this production is concerned, but they really did a good job with the practical effects, and I really did enjoy them here, which more people that make low-budget movies do great practical effects. Now, most people won't recognize Bonnie Aarons. She's the nun from The Conjuring and The Nun, who plays the master under that Nosferatu-like makeup here. But I like the fact they decided to have a female playing the main vampire here. I think she's pretty good. Right around the end of the third act, she has this nice speech that she talks to Anne, and I think she makes a great antagonist here. So it's a little different play here, because most of the time it's always a male vampire that does this type of a role. But I like the fact they actually made the vampire a female vampire. But I like how Bonnie Aarons portrays the master here, and I thought she did a pretty good job too. So while this isn't the best vampire movie I've seen so far, I did enjoy what the filmmakers did here. It's basically a charming story about marriage and what a loving couple will do to stay together, even if it means some people will have to die. So I'm going to give Jacob's Wife 3 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. 3 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. And like I said before, it's not the best vampire movie I've seen so far, but it's pretty decent for what they were going with here. Like I said, we had some decent acting between Barbara Crampton and Freddie Fastner. Excellent practical effects, a nice different type of storyline. I think most of you guys will actually love it. Like I said, I think it's on Shudder right now, so check it out and tell me what you thought about it. So there you have it. That is my review and video for Jacob's Wife. If you did like this video, please like and share, because it does help with the YouTube algorithm. And of course, have you seen Jacob's Wife? Please leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about Jacob's Wife. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Mizamani G, and always remember that horror rules. Ha ha ha. I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.